Welcome once again to United Prison Ministry, changing lives on the inside. We're so happy to be with you this month as we look at this program, this week rather. And we don't have a special guest with us today, Warden, but it's just you and I to share with the people what is happening around the world and also with United Prison Ministry.
Well, it's wonderful that God's with us as our special guest to really take care of what you and I have to talk about today. Because today we want to talk to the viewers who've been faithful watchers of this program for so long. And if this is your first time to watch us, we welcome you to this program. We think that we will have some valuable information to give you because we're going to show you some of the pieces of literature that we place into the hands of inmates throughout the United States, Canada, and even into the world, into other translations and interpretations of the same message. We have Bibles, of course, which all of you know that we place in their hands, but we have other literature too. So we're going to show you some of that. We're also going to show you something that you, as a viewer, can write in and receive. So you may want to get a pencil and paper and have it handy, where when Richard or I, either one, give you an address, you'll be able to write down that address. And I think it's interesting that I say that because only this morning, another person and I were watching a Christian television program together. And that person wanted to write for something that that person on the television show was talking about. But when it flashed on the screen, he wasn't quick enough to get the pencil and the paper to write down the total thing, so it went off the screen before he got the zip code. So not wanting to have to go and look it up in the U.S. Post Office zip code book, he missed it. And we don't want you to miss any part of our address, so it's going to be flashing on the screen throughout this entire program. And I'll tell you, you need that pencil and paper. It's always important. We may even make a statement that you would like to challenge. We may even say something about literature we're sending out to the inmates that you want to question. Or we certainly want you to put down when we make one of the offers to you of the videos, our newsletter, and other materials that we can make available to you. So get that pencil and paper, and we'll proceed with this wonderful program for today.
And you know, probably maybe for their benefit, maybe two good reasons. Number one is that many people, you know, we traveled, asked us, they said, I got somebody that's in prison. I know somebody that's in prison. What should I do? Well, this way they'll have our address. But the real reason why we need to know now, we need to know how many people really watch us. So I would like to challenge them, everybody that's watching this program, would you just write us this month to say you've seen the program? At least we'll know. If you just do that.
That's good.
So we'll know whether we got 2 people listening at it, or 3, or 5, or 5,000, or 5 million. We would just like for you to write us. If you have something you want to send, it's welcome, because this is a faith ministry, and you know it's needed. But the main thing this month, I would like to hear from everybody that's looking at this program.
Right, just a note, a short, brief note.
And your address.
Right, and your address. Now then, we want to show you something about excuses.
That's right.
You've heard the excuses. They deserve it. They committed a crime. They don't deserve help. They're criminals. We've tried everything. Nothing works. Nothing can change their lives. They're hardened criminals. Lock them up. Throw away the key. Give them life. The words of life. The Bible. The life changer. Read the true story of how the Bible changed the life of Harold Wilson. Read the marked Bible. It's powerful. It's true. Call 205-755-4744 to find out how to get your copy. It takes away all our excuses.
You know that Richard asked you to write to us this month? Richard, what if those people who write to us this month could get a copy of the marked Bible free?
You know, let's do that. I think that's what we'll do. We'll just send them a copy of the marked Bible. Everybody that writes to us this month.
But they need to ask for it, because we don't want to send something if somebody's not asking for it. So in their note, when they write to us, if they'll just put marked Bible on it, then we'll know for the mail room to send out a marked Bible to that letter.
Sure, you read the marked Bible. Tell them, the many millions out here that have not read the marked Bible, why they should want to read that book.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the story of a mother who loved her son so very much, and I know there are many mothers out there, and fathers also, who love their children dearly. She went to the trouble, and I say trouble, which is not trouble for a mother to mark a Bible when she's reading it, but she went and took the time to mark a Bible to give to her son because he was leaving home. Well, he didn't appreciate that Bible. He promptly threw the Bible away. But I don't want to give the whole story away. But you know how Bibles have a way of being in the hands of God. And that Bible mysteriously came back to him and changed his life as well as many other lives. And it's a true story.
You better believe
it's
it.
what's so fascinating about it in reading it. But Richard, one of the good things about this marked Bible book that we have published for United Prison Ministries is the fact that in the back of it, on the back pages of this book here, we have information for the people who will receive this that tells them about the goals and the objectives of UPMI.
And I think that's very important, because most people don't realize what our really goals and objectives are. But you know, before I forget it, that book there, in the last few months, we have printed now over 250, $250,000, and you know we're going to put it in every prisoner's hand for this month. That's why we really need your support too. But the main thing is that everybody that I've given this book to, everybody on the airplane, in churches, you know, we were just at a church this past Sabbath, everybody we gave it to says, this is a wonderful book. People said, I read it, and I will assure you that if you read this book, you will love it, and then you will want to give a copy of this to your friends and neighbors. And we're going to make that possible too after they read the book.
Okay, I need to tell them also something unique about this is that in it here, the book that you get that we publish for viewers of the program, there is a prayer is the answer sheet in the page that has a place for you to write and order a case of 100 books for $99. Now, the inmate does not receive this particular book inset on this here, because the book that the inmate gets comes with his request for the Bible studies. And the marked Bible inside cover of that has a different message for the inmates, not anything that offers to sell him the marked Bible for $99 for 100 copies. He gets something that is for the inmate in particular. But when the inmate orders what the Bible says, the 32 lessons that we send to them, we include in it Happiness Digest, which is a book about the steps to Christ, tells a person how to be saved, to find salvation. And then the marked Bible is the new book that we have inserted into the cellophane wrapped package. You may not know, but prisons do not allow mail from just anybody.
That's right.
Even publications or hardback books or anything.
You need to know that.
So this is a flexible piece of material that is cello bound, that could contain no contraband, that goes into the inmate and is acceptable in the prisons throughout the United States and Canada.
Okay, before I forget, so they'll remember this, that if a prisoner wants this book, we don't want the mother or the father or the husband or wife to request it. It has to come from the request from the prisoner.
Right.
So all they have to do is give the prisoner our address and let the prisoners write us, and we'll send it to them.
Right, and even a parent can't send this book in because it doesn't come from a publishing house.
That's correct.
And corrections facilities require that books come from a publishing house, and we're a publishing house.
That's correct.
So we can send it in, but even if they get a copy of it, they can't get it to the inmate. Only we can, and the inmate must request it from us. So if you parents or friends have an inmate who wants a copy, or you want them to have a copy, write to them and ask them to write to us at UPMI, P.O. Box 8, Verbena, Alabama, 36091.
That's right.
And Verbena is spelled Verbena, Verbena, Alabama, Post Office Box 8, 36091, and that will show on your screen. Write it down. You'll want to keep this handy. Now, we want to show you another roll-in of some ladies.
We work together as a group.
Okay. Well, what time will we start?
After dinner.
Girl, you know I like to lay down after I eat. You better do it early in the morning.
Okay.
Early in the morning. Oh, yeah. Hey,
I like this
something to do.
Happiness Digest. It's pretty.
Then we could do it when they tell us we can't go outside, right? Open the windows, get with some of the girls are not so cold all the time. We can get together and open the windows and let the air come in. We can read.
Yeah, let the air out a little bit.
More Bible study.
Okay.
More Bible.
Get closer to the Lord.
Always put him first.
Put the devil behind us.
Yep.
Yep.
Regardless of what.
You're a product of your choices.
No more worries, no more stress.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, that's true.
Main
One thing I can't say about Julius while in prison, though, they do have a lot of Bible
And then
materials that they give out to you.
I like
They help you get closer to the Lord.
Satan brought us here, but you know what though?
God
We are
gonna
living
take us out.
but we are living testimony because we could have been dead.
That's
We
right.
could have been dead. I know some of the things I did. I
Without
could have been
being
dead,
saved.
but by the man above, I'm living and I'm walking in
But you
time.
know what? How y'all remember?
Thank God to be here.
God sent us here for a purpose. You know, He
Yeah.
could have left us out there and placed us on probation or put
Doing
us
the
on
things
parole.
that the devil
But He
want
sent
us
us
to do.
here for a reason.
That's
And, you
right.
know, when I
We didn't give him
wasn't
much-
here, I always wanted to come here and see what it was like. You know, to come to Tugwell. I always wanted to come here. And my sister was here back
Well,
then.
if you notice, most of us, Satan sent us here because of like drugs or alcohol or something, you know,
Something to
stealing
that
or
relate.
related, yeah. And you know, then in prison or when we got locked up, we got to feeling sorry for ourselves, and then we found out that we didn't have to be sorry for ourselves because we had something in here in our heart, and that was Jesus Christ. You know, and He would
But
make
9 times
He
out of
would bring
10
joy wherever we was. We
That's
don't,
right.
not even
Yeah.
out, you know, from out
But
there
you
in the
think about it
streets.
though, when we was in the streets, we never did talk to the Lord. 9 times 10, we were
No, yeah.
constantly trying to get money for drugs and do all that. That's the reason we're here. But now, I guarantee you, one time out of the day, you're going to say
You're
something
going
to
to
the
say
Lord.
something to the Lord.
You going to.
You going.
You're going to talk to him while you're in here.
You are.
I know I do. I can't speak for everybody else, but I am.
I was just standing here in Tutwiler walking down the hallway here, and Vanessa stopped me, and she shared some good thoughts with me that she would like to share. Now, Vanessa's got 15 years been sentenced here, but how long have you been here, though?
I've been here 3 years, 9 months, and 27
Now, what were you
days.
telling me in the hallway?
Well, I was telling you that we're going to miss Mrs. Lowe-Miller because she is one of the best wardens in my time that I've known of. She's done more for me. When I was incarcerated the last time I was pregnant, and Mrs. Lowe-Miller really went out for us pregnant girls. She stood by us and she made sure that we had what we needed to have. She also does a lot for the MIU girls, and I know that Mrs. Lowe-Miller really cares about us girls. She wants us to be good people in society, not good inmates.
That's right.
And she provided us with all the things that we needed while we were pregnant, and the MIU girls. And I know this firsthand experience. And she's a warden with a heart because she really stood by us.
So maybe what you have experienced with her, that it's all right if she goes and share with other people around the world. Because I was with her just last week in Romania.
Oh, you
and so I
were?
know, yes. And so we went down on death row. In fact, we had a young man come up off of death row, to be honest with you, that we took a picture to. So I know what you're saying is true, but see, no longer will she may be here, but she'll be all around the world doing the same thing.
Well, I hope so because she's one of the few Christian wardens that I've ever known. You know, and you know, a lot of people say that we get jailhouse Christianity, but that's not true. We have a time for time out right now, and she does guide us in the way of finding God and finding what we need to find so that we do fit into society when we do leave here, you know. And I feel like she's just one of the best Christians that I've ever met. I know anytime I ever needed to go to her, she was there for me. She always took time out to check on us.
Even though she has 900 women.
Even though she has 900 women, and not just the MIU, and not just the maternity ward. She checks on every ward. Mrs. Lowe-Miller has walked up and down these halls many a times, and these are halls that some people wouldn't walk up and down. And you've always found Mrs. Lowe-Miller, and you can always stop her and ask her a question, and she takes takes time out to answer those questions.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank
May
you
God
so
bless
much.
you.
God bless you,
and keep
too.
studying God's Word, and
Oh,
we'll
I
see you
will.
when we come again, okay?
I will, and I hope Mrs. Lowmiller keeps her work because she's doing a wonderful
Okay,
job.
I'm going to tell her that. I'm going to remind her. When she
Vanessa is very complimentary, and I appreciate what she had to say, and that was unsolicited. Richard, you just caught her at a real good moment, but I want to explain what Vanessa was talking about when she says the MIU. That is the main isolation unit. That is an area where inmates with contagious infectious conditions are housed. It's a medical unit in the infirmary section of Julia Tutwiler Prison. And I was always concerned about their health, because if you have health problems while you're incarcerated, it is a very serious matter that needs to have full attention given to it, because a lot of people who come to prison have never had good health care. And so they come in with a depleted health, and they need to have special attention. So that was what Vanessa was talking about when she was talking about the MIU. And the pregnant women are also another thing that we were able to get the WIC program for the females who were incarcerated. And this was a new project for the WIC program. You're familiar with that. It's vouchers where you can get certain nutritional foods for the individuals who are indigent, and inmates were certainly indigent. And the person in charge of food services would take the vouchers and go to the grocery store with the human resources approval on it and get these and package it for the pregnant inmates and the others who had health problems that were eligible for WIC because they had already had a baby and needed to get the additional nourishment.
You know, Warden, I want to let them know, because of you and your predecessor, United Prison Ministry, to my knowledge, is the only group that goes in there to give them Bible studies.
Yes,
in the
Bible
MIU.
studies are the ones that are brought into MIU by UPMI.
We're the only one. And for people, I know you said contagious disease. Now, does all of them have AIDS? I thought all of them have AIDS in there. Is that?
A lot of them have AIDS, and a lot of them have the immune deficiency that comes, that is the precursor to getting AIDS, which is HIV positive, as they know it technically.
But I will say this, that see, in the prison that the warden was in, and I thank God, by the way, I want to elaborate on what the young lady said, Vanessa said, about you helping them. You have now expanded your help in talking to other prison officials throughout the country how to make a successful prison by what you demonstrated there, by mingling with the inmates, by talking to the inmates. You know, we were at a luncheon just the other day with Warden that had retired, and he said the key to successful administrator is to be able to be one that goes throughout the prison system, talk to the inmates as well as the officers, and you have done just that, and you're a good role model for them. In this particular prison that you were in, to me there are three categories, because you have women on death row.
Yes.
You have women in MIU.
Yes.
And then you have the general population.
That's correct.
And this is unusual in most, in fact, I think this is the only prison I've ever heard that all three of them are in. Is that?
I'm not totally familiar with the fact that this may be on the one, but talking with the commissioner here in Alabama recently, he stated and called this the women's system for corrections in the state, because Tutwiler is the first and only prison for female felony offenders. There's not another institution. So all of your medical problems, your pregnant females, your HIV positive, your AIDS infected inmates, TB patients are sent there to be kept in the main isolation unit. So there are many, many medical problems that are addressed in this one facility, because it is, as the commissioner said, the system for females in the state of Alabama. I want to go back, though, to the roll-in that we had before that, where the ladies were talking, and they were talking about the material that we had given out on that particular day. And they were talking about studying the Desire of Ages, which is the book we handed out to them that day, and then the Bible lessons that they were getting that day. They were getting Steps to Happiness Digest, Steps to Christ, and they were getting the Bible study lessons and the Desire of Ages at the same time.
Now, is that the day we ran out of the material?
That's the day we ran out of the material and the Bibles, and we had to send in and get extra Bibles to bring into the girls because they were just so excited about having this made available to them.
Now, for our viewers out there, I want you to know that you told us to bring 900 of everything, and we did. Even with your financial personal help, too. We brought 900 of everything, but why did we run out?
Well, we ran out because the inmates were so excited that they wanted to take some to send to their family.
So they were stealing?
They were taking them. We have another scene that we'd like for you to see.
I have experience with drugs for the last 9 years, off and on. I got caught. I mean, I always got caught, but I always got out of it. Then I found myself in here. In here it is scary. You've got one thing, and that's faith. That's the only thing that keeps me going. I live by one thing every day, and it's a verse on Matthew 7:7, and it says, "Ask and it will be given, seek and you shall find it, knock and the door shall be open." I can say it to anybody out there. When I got caught, all I got was a year and a day, but regardless, this is a scary place. And I wouldn't wish it for anybody to be in here. If you're out there, seek and find the Lord and do it now. Because in here, that's what that's what I'm doing, is seeking and I'm finding the Lord. I'm closer and closer to Him now. Don't only seek the Lord and find Him in here, but also when you're on the outside, you've got to have Him with you day and night. Because Satan will tempt you outside, and you got to have the Lord in your life in order to survive and stay clean for the rest of your life. So think about it. You don't want to be here.
I'm here on a conviction of 10 split 2 on a theft of property. First, I got out on an appeal, and my appeal was denied, so I'm back. Thank God. Because I'm back, because this is what God needed me. These are my duties here. And I don't have a testimony, but what I do have is a dream. And my dream is to minister to many women that are battered women and that are women that are in prison. And this is the work that God has chosen me to do. And I mean, there's nothing else that I wouldn't enjoy doing more than what I'm doing now, is doing the work of the Lord. And there are many women in different places that I've ministered to. And God had already shown me before I got here the many women that I would be ministering to. And it has been a joy just being here, but I know that my journey is very short because there are other places that I'm going to have to attend. And I feel so good because when I read and I teach and go over in the Bible scriptures with these women, that we find out that a lot of people that were in prison, for instance, Paul and Cyrus, gives me the inspiration to know that I am still somebody. And that what God does is by faith, and faith without work is dead. So I make sure that everything that I read, that I share with each and every individual. And I have asked God for such a healing prayer till Jesus is so powerful that He works through me. And it's not the works that I do, but of that's Him that dwells in me. And I'm just so thankful that the Lord has moved me in this way and that I'm able to be here for others. And there's just not enough words for me to say thank you, God, for being the head of my life, for being the Alpha and my Omega, the beginning and the end. So if anyone out there that is seeking Him, if you knock, the door shall open. Seek and you shall find. Open your heart, not your mind. Give Him your heart, and He is truly to be moved. And that is a blessing from Him. And without God, there is no works in life whatsoever for you. So you need to give Him your time and all your energy. Stay praying. Stay on your knees, bowed knees, bended knees, and bowed heads. And He answers all His prayers, and He knows His sheep. So to us, we're His sheep. And He's chosen us. And I feel great that He's chosen me to be part of His work.
I have been through the lowest things in my life. I have done some of the lowest things in my life. I'm here at Julia Tutwiler. I had 10 years, split one. And I want to say to all the young peoples out there that Julia Tutwiler is not nice. You know, I came down here thinking I was going to be bad and tough, you know, and I can handle it. But this ain't that nice, y'all. Please try to get your life together, because prison ain't that nice. And I ask the Lord each and every day to come into my life and make me strong. One lady, Robin, who just left here, she helped lift me up. And another one, I would not call her name, but I call her mama. She been there for me. But all above them, God have been there for me. You know what I'm saying? I have done some of the most lowest things in the world. And I am a living testimony, because I've been dead and the Lord brought me back. You know what I'm saying? And I got a baby out there, and I love her, and I got to live and go out there for her. And I'm going to say, if you got a heart, please trust in the Lord. Don't come to prison for nothing. Give God your soul. If I can go back and turn back the hands of time, I would never step foot in this place again. Please, I'm asking each and every one of you, the ladies here with me, you know, to try to change our life over. I had, you know, the reputation of doing some of everything. I'm here for selling dope and smoking dope. And you hear a lot of ladies talk about they ain't going to do it. And, you know, I hope and pray that we don't do it. We know where we been, but we don't know where we going. And I just ask the Lord every day to touch my heart. I do a lot of things now that's wrong, but I ask and pray to the Lord and beg him, please come close into my heart. I'm not perfect, but I want to scrape my life up. And if each and every one of y'all young people out there can see me or listen, y'all see this tape, please don't do no crime, because prison is not nice. I'm here to let you know that now. Please scrape your life up. Selling drugs is not what it's all about. Stealing is not what it's all about. Robbing is not what it's all about. Stop playing and start praying. And I'm going to do that myself before I can try to tell y'all I'm finna try to scrape my life up. Thank you.
When you hear dynamic testimonies like these given from behind prison walls, you should fully realize that God is moving, and He's moving because there are people like you who are making materials available. I want to explain what one of the inmates said about a split sentence. A split sentence is when the judge gives a person 1 year to serve behind bars and a number of years on parole probation, which means that they have to report in, and if they do anything wrong or get another case, they'll have to go back in to serve whatever additional time is put on the initial case by the judge, which could be 5 years, 10 years, or whatever. But sometimes inmates speak their language, and we out in the public don't understand it. But you need to know that these girls need your prayer, and we solicit that. We want you to watch us again, because we have more to talk to you about. We think you are the key to these people's lives, changing lives on the inside. Thank you for watching.